Jack.
It's Graham, Mack and Jules. Chris Hubbard has the news.
A woman from Devon who split from her husband after he had an affair wants her kidney back.
Is that actually allowable? Can you just cut someone open and take it back?
Be a test case for a good lawyer, though.
It would be.
Who owns the kidney? I mean,
Yeah.
it was a gift to him. Surely if she gifts it, that's the end of that. She didn't gift it under the proviso he doesn't have an affair.
But this woman's saying she will go through the operation again to have her kidney back.
Wow.
He says he was looking after his wife's friend's dog, and she believes that she had an affair. He went out walking, grooming this dog, looking after it with the friend.
There's the easy answer. Take the kidney out, give it to the dog. Dogs love a bit of kidney. Who have you seen naked but wish you hadn't? Who was it, Dave?
My mother.
What happened?
It was traumatic.
How old were you, Dave?
I was about 14.
Oh, that's not a good age to see your mum naked. How did it happen?
Well, first, my mum's a big one. Right? She's big round the waist and short in height.
Right.
So, I woke up and she was running across the landing to go to the toilet.
Uh-huh.
And all them bits going in one go. It was like a round of applause. my teenage fragile mind. I've never been able to watch Babe Pig in the City ever again.
Jack's Breakfast, playing what we want whilst avoiding your morning breath.
We talked about the icebreaker ship trying to get through to those people stranded in the Antarctic who've been on, well, it's a mix of essentially tourists and scientists on this ship who've been stuck out there over Christmas and the New Year.
And this Chinese icebreaker must have a really hard name to pronounce, the name of the actual ship, because it's always referred to as the Chinese icebreaker. But the phrase Chinese icebreaker, whenever I hear it, I think, oh, what does that really mean?
Yeah.
Because usually something with Chinese in front of it means something. You have Chinese whispers, Chinese water torture, Chinese burn, there's another one.
Chinese burn, yeah, that's very true.
All negative connotations, which, if it's true that if anything Chinese is negative, I'm in big trouble. Nearly everything I own is made in China.
Jack.
As a married man with 26 years experience, there is one trap question that there is no right answer to from a woman, which is, does this make me look fat? There is no right answer to that, even if you lie and they find out later that they don't agree, then you're in trouble for lying. You know, it's just, but I didn't realise women ask that question of other women.
Yeah, of course they do.
Julie's just started working in a clothes shop, and a lady tried something on and went, does this make me look fat?
Oh, you can't do it as a shop assistant,
What's she supposed? What's the correct answer supposed to be there? Luckily, the lady was trying on a puffer jacket, and Julie was able to say, they make everybody look fat.
Jack's Breakfast.
Chris Hubbard is here with the news.
1 billion of us are fat at the moment, according to
Can you say that? Are you allowed to say that? Can't you just say 1 billion of us have a great personality? This morning we're looking for the time you were the most scared. I can remember for me, I was about 20. I was working as a pipe fitter, oil refinery construction job in New Zealand, and it was the shutdown, which meant we worked 12-hour shifts through the night. It was 7 at night till 7 in the morning. That was your shift. Now, this job, as a taxi driver once explained to me, every bed egg in New Zealand is on that job. I mean, there was some
weirdos.
Some interesting people, yeah. And you have to share a porter cabin with them in the middle of the night, or a shed. Anyway, we got this new foreman. I didn't know this guy, and he'd come up from another job, so he was working his way from job to job. He'd been on a petrochem plant in Taranaki. Anyway, he came up to work on this job. And in the middle of the night, it's about 4 a.m., and it's raining. And I'm alone with him in the shed. And he goes to me, how's your bot?
Oh, God.
I was absolutely terrified. He wasn't on about that. What had happened was, the night before I'd been complaining because I'd caught a really bad cold, but the money was so good on this job, there was no way I wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
And I'd struggled my way through it. And so this was the next night. I didn't know, but in New Zealand, if you've got a cold, a cold is called the bot.
Oh, thank God!
Really really interesting finding over in Egypt. They've kind of found the Egyptian equivalent of John Smith's grave. They found the grave of a brewer from more than 3,000 years ago. He was head of beer production in Egypt at the time. And they're saying that they've never really found anything like this before, and didn't expect somebody like this to have such a high-profile grave alongside the pharaohs. So some of the pharaohs placing a high value on drink.
Well, I can see the Egyptians must have been drinkers. Drink was clearly very important to them, because there's no way building a giant cat with a human face. No one had that idea sober. Graham, Mack and Jules, and Chris Hubbard has the news.
More Pope news this morning. He's really making the news.
Frank is a bit of a media whore, isn't he?
Oh, completely. He's urging breastfeeding in the Sistine Chapel now. So after...
You have to have a baby, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right. I was just wondering how radical this new Pope was.
Couples without kids in the first place are actually happier.
Well, I can believe that.
Can you?
This is research now, is it? I can certainly vouch for my parents. They would have been happier without you.
Oh, really?
Graham, Mack and Jules, and Chris Hubbard has the news.
And the scenic views of St Mary's Church in Hitchin, you know, just across the road from the car park. You've got the river, you've got the big church near the market.
Yeah.
It's all going to be drained. So they're actually draining the river. The reason for this is partly because of litter and people dumping shopping trolleys in there. But bread is the problem. People are insistent on feeding the ducks.
So you're not supposed to feed bread to the ducks?
Well, it's the sheer volume of bread that people actually feed the ducks in Hitchin.
So the ducks aren't actually eating it all?
And the ducks aren't eating it all, so all it does, you think the bread would break down in water, but it doesn't. All it does is sink to the bottom, and the amount of bread just kind of then builds up on the bottom into a big, solid, spongy mass.
Yeah.
It forms a river bread. That's what it is, though, isn't it? It's a river bread.
So they've got to clear all the stuff out of there. But it is... due to the amount of kids and old ladies chucking bread into the river, that this problem's caused in the first place. It just clogs everything up. Also in the news this morning, California, on a water theme, is suffering some of its worst drought since the 70s. So 40-odd years, it's not been this bad. River levels are down, reservoir levels are down to around 20% of normal levels. In Northern California, a village was deliberately flooded to provide a reservoir, so they blocked the village and the valley at both ends.
Dammed it off,
yeah. Dammed it off, filled it full of water, but the water levels are so low now that you can start seeing the buildings again.
That sounds really cool.
The village that came back from the deep.
I mean, this is going back to the time of the gold rush era as well, when this was flooded off.
This is great.
And this has got to be one of my worst fears. This story about the guy who woke up in a mortuary. He was a corpse, or at least they thought he was a corpse.
They thought he was dead.
They thought he was dead.
They put him in the big drawer that goes in the big fridge thing.
The hospital declared him dead, and he woke up alive in the mortuary.
Was he in a body bag?
Surrounded by stiffs.
Well, apparently the mortuary workers legged it out of there when this guy was pulled out again, and he was seen to be breathing.
Whoa, wow.
And the patient says... this was a mistake from the start. Apparently he'd been experimenting around with different drinks, and he apologises to his father for causing him so much distress.
So a bloke that came back from the dead, a village that came back from the dead, and a river is coming back from the bread.
That's right. France's president faces the media today with stories about his love life still front-page news. Claims Francois Hollande's having an affair with an actress are expected to overshadow announcements about the economy. His political commentator Agnès Poirier.
I grew up in a time of François Mitterrand, and no journalist would have dared actually even thinking of spending a night outside a building in the hope of taking pictures of the president going to a rendezvous.
That's the latest from the Jack FM newsroom. More at 7.
Did she call it a randy view?
A randy view, yeah.
Thanks a lot. It's Graham, Mack and Jules, and Chris Hubbard is here with the news.
We talked about this Rosetta probe yesterday.
This is the Stevenage satellite.
This is our local
land
probe.
they were waking it up so it can go and land on a comet.
It's travelling around about 60,000 miles an hour, so they need to get this probe to actually land on it. They're going to harpoon it.
They don't need to go all that way. There's a comet in Stevenage.
they won't get up. There's a quite revolting story in the papers this morning as well about this chocolate bar that somebody found a wasp encased in.
Ugh.
Have you seen the pictures of this? It was a Cadbury's chocolate bar. They're looking into it now as to how
it was a wasper.
Graham Jack on Mack.